This is one of those times of the shot where I wish I had a really, really short string kendama so it would actually fit in the frame. That actually is nice. Okay. Hey guys, so this video is going to be solving competition mentality in kendama. So if you have actually competed a handful of times and do not enjoy it, this video is not for you and you can leave the video right now. And although I think competing developmentally is not only one of the best things you can do as a player, but as a person, I'm not going to spend time convincing those who have already made up their mind in this video. That can be for another time. So now that there are only those left who actually want to compete, who actually want to improve their mentality in competition, let's dive into the 6 steps that you can work on to improve your competition mentality. Step number 1 is understanding your why. So a lot of people have different reasons on why they want to compete. And at first it's like, okay, yes, we all want to win. We all want to get first place. We all want to do well. We all want to advance in the rounds as far and as much as possible. But actually deep down, it can be a lot more individualized than that. Some players might have goals to do well in competition because they want to improve their chance of being sponsored, improve the amount of respect they're getting in today's game. They want to achieve a higher status in the kendama community. You know, and some people might want to compete just because their friend entered and they actually want to beat that friend. Or some players see a prize that they want that motivates them to compete. Or sometimes they want to prove a sibling or family member or friend wrong. Maybe someone said, oh, you can't do that, you're not going to be good at that. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to actually do this and compete and practice and achieve. It doesn't really matter the reason why. The only thing that matters is that 1, it exists, and 2, it is strong. The strongest competitors have the strongest whys, not in terms of reason, but actually in terms of the desire that they want to achieve them, the desire at which they want to achieve their goals. So take some actual time to ask yourself, why do you want to compete? What goals do you want to achieve by competing? And be brutally honest while answering. Step number 2, building self-proof and confidence. This is a massive, massive step into building your actual overall competition mentality and performance. Competition is not fun or enjoyable if you keep losing, right? Nobody likes to lose. It's always, always, always fun to win. So if you keep losing, 95% of the time, it's going to be because you're not putting enough work in. You're not actually giving yourself enough proof consistently enough to actually show yourself that you're proficient in whatever tricks that you're competing with. So how exactly do you build this self-proof, this confidence? You start with small wins and you slowly scale up from there. So let's get an actual practice routine started. Let's just say, for example, you're competing in an open division style kendama competition. You have a trick list, whatever division you're entering. Start out by going through the trick list once, every trick one time in one day, every single day as soon as the tricks come out. This is gonna be your first taste of the tricks. You're going through them once per day. It shouldn't take you that long unless you have a trick that you really, really, really struggle with, which if you do, good, you've identified it as a super weakness and you know what to give particular time and attention to. Now let's level that up. It's been a couple weeks since the tricks got released, been, maybe even a couple days. Now you're running the tricks 3 times in one day. 3 times in one day, whether it be an all-in-one session, you go through the list once, twice, 3 times, or you do it once in the morning, afternoon, and evening. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is the overall volume of repetitions you get in the day. And with this method, you will get a total of 3 repetitions at least with each trick throughout the day. At this point, you're going to be going through the tricks enough that you want to do more repetitions, especially with the ones that you're worse at and the ones that you're strongest at. And the final level of difficulty for this, level 3, is ramping it up. So you're practicing the trick list once per day, but your session is only complete when you go through the trick list and you hit every trick 3 times in a row. This is going to be a much lengthier session than the previous practice methods. You're gonna wanna make sure you have ample time for this. This is really, really gonna build your consistency because now you're not only getting the tricks 3 times throughout the day, you're getting them so much more. You're gonna have so many times where you get 1, 2, and then miss the next one. And this accumulates so many reps that it really just begs for consistency. I'm at a children's park, so kids are here. So now you just up your volume drastically. You just went from hitting the overall repetitions of each trick 3 times in one day to at least, at your best practice session ever on this certain trick, you at least match that type of volume, but you're probably gonna go even more. The lowest amount of reps you can do with this final practice method on each trick is 3 times, which was the maximum of the last method. This method of practice is so crucial for consistency building because hitting a trick 3 times in a row is actually the max amount of times that you can attempt a trick in a competition. You will never go over 3 times in a row, nulling or missing in a competition with your opponent. Ideally, in a perfect world, every single trick you get in competition, you get 3 times in a row, right? That never happens, but you want to prove to yourself that it's actually possible. it's actually possible for you to be consistent enough to do this trick 3 times in a row. So if you don't set yourself up with this foundation, this self-proof beforehand, it's going to be highly unlikely you're going to pull it out of thin air, you know, miraculously in competition when your opponent matches your set and you have to hit it again, and maybe they match again and you have to hit it 3 times in a row. The best competitors can hit tricks 3 times in a row, so you want to be prepared to be right there with them. Practice equals proof equals confidence. So the more you prove to yourself that you can do these tricks, not only have you done these tricks once, not only have you done these tricks 3 times, but that you actually can and consistently do them, you know, 3 times over again and again and again. With this type of self-proof, it's almost impossible not to feel way more confident and comfortable up on that stage. Step number 3, fill your environment with competitive players. If your main friend group in school is prioritizing getting good grades, you know, getting good marks, it's likely that you're going to be naturally placing a higher importance on the same exact objective. Now conversely, if your entire friend group is smoking, you're going to be that much more likely to start smoking as a natural effect of being around these people, right? Environment is extremely crucial to who you become. It's like that classic saying, you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. It's the same in Kendama. But once you're conscious of this fact, you can really use that as an advantage to whatever skill you're trying to possess. In terms of this, having a better skill of competition. So if you want to be a better competitor, either 1, find players in your area that want to compete, that want to practice, that want to hone their skills under pressure, or number 2, find them online. It's so easy to find players online in groups, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, Discord, SKOOL, whatever you name it, there's going to be someone who has the same objective as you, even if they are not already in person. And number 3, you can obviously do both of these things to maximize the time you're actually practicing. If your environment of players is one that loves to compete, just naturally does mock comps, mock matches all the time, then practice is going to feel more as a norm and be way easier integrated into your Kendama sessions rather than a certain task you have to complete. Step number 4, actually compete. Actually do the competition. I have to put this one in there and make this clear because yes, mock matches are awesome. Yes, mock competitions in person are great. It's probably the best way to actually, you know, simulate the actual competition experience in the most accurate way possible. But nothing compares to going to a real competition where there are real stakes, where there's actually do or die. Competing can be daunting, nerve-wracking, stressful, exciting, all these emotions combined into one. And that's good, because if it wasn't that, it wouldn't be competing. A lot of players can practice all they want, but if they don't actually get out to a competition, they don't know how they will really do. The only way to get better at a skill, just like, you know, doing your repetitions on each trick in the trick list, is to actually put time into it and to actually do it over and over again. And competing is a skill in itself. And you only will probably get a couple chances, you know, per year to really do this. So you want to make them count, and you want to get yourself out to those and make the most out of those chances as best as possible by just being there and showing up and really doing the thing of competing. Because the more you experience a real competition atmosphere, the more used to it you'll get, the more comfortable you'll get, the more you'll adapt, and the better you'll perform as time goes on. And final step number 5, reflect and improve for next time. You can take away something from every single competition. One of the best competitors in the US right now, Johnny Kress, if you ask him what he learned from every competition as soon as it ends, whether he wins or loses, he's going to have a takeaway pretty much right after whatever happens takes place. Like I said earlier, we're only gonna really get, if we're lucky, a handful of opportunities per year to compete, maybe less. So the amount of repetitions we're getting on competing is way lower than just trying to get a trick 3 times in a row, which is accessible to us at any time of the day. So the amount you have to learn is so much every single time. And if you're actually really conscious about this, no matter if you're a player watching who has been to competitions for 5+ years, if you're actually conscious about this, if you're actually conscious and thinking about what you have done to prepare for this competition, how you actually did in the competition itself, what you did during matches, after matches, how you held your cool, you know, what did you do while the person was doing their turn, how did you prepare for your set? All of these things, what did you do in between matches, you know, all of these things, they're all valuable pieces of information. And if you're actually conscious about this and thinking about this, you will be able to identify things that you can improve upon for the next competition after every single competition. It never happens where a person has a perfect competition experience. And, you know, if they do in their mind, then that's also information. It's like, okay, cool. I've had that experience. I want to try and replicate every single thing that I did at this competition in the next one to ensure the highest possible chance of winning again. And the best part about this process, guys, is that doing all of these steps and really dedicating yourself to it, that in itself is strengthening your competition mentality so much. A lot of players spend more time thinking about, competing and achieving rather instead of doing and preparing to actually get their desired result. So after all of these action steps, you'll go from a player who, really, really wants and desires to have a strong competition mentality to, over time, just being the player who has one.